In this video, we address negotiations about salary and other matters that happen as part of a job interview selection process. Firstly, let's talk about strategy. Your aim in getting involved in negotiations should be to obtain every single penny and other benefit that the employer is prepared to provide in order to get you on board. However, you need to be careful and set out your stall just right to accomplish this. And timing is critical too. When you disclose a salary figure early in the selection process, you risk being disregarded for the role, for either being too expensive or equally too cheap. From the outset, you should try and get a good understanding of where the employer stands on salary and benefits, what seems easy for them to get ground on, and what is likely to prove difficult, and, of course, why. If a recruiter is involved, you may very likely not discuss salary with the employer at all. Recruiters often act as a broker between you and the employer. The recruiter will discuss what you're seeking and will then talk to the employer and seek an agreement that is acceptable to both parties. If you're dealing with a recruiter, understand their role and adopt a strategy that positions you best in this kind of three-way relationship. Secondly, let's further discuss when you should negotiate. Employers normally are keen to discuss salary early on, usually at first interview stage. This is because they don't want to go to the altar with somebody and then trip up over salary and benefits. For you, the best time to negotiate salary is as late in the interview process as possible, ideally after the employer has said that they want you, that you're the person for them. Therefore, you should always try and kick salary negotiation down the road if you can. Say things like, "Oh, I don't expect that we'll fall out over salaries. I'm more focused at this stage on getting the job that's right for me." When a recruiter is involved, they will almost always want to discuss your salary and other benefit requirements as early as possible, usually before you meet the employer. The best approach with recruiters is to avoid specifics, saying, "Well, it depends on the job and the employer." And if you have to give something, give a salary range that is deliberately wide. Thirdly, let's talk about research you should do. You should get a good understanding of job market pay rates. However, be careful of surveys published by recruitment firms. Their figures can be way off. You also need to establish how the employer that you are talking to generally pays and what they're likely to be planning to pay for the position that you want to be considered for. Think in terms of total package. Will there be non-salary benefits? What will it be like to work for this employer? How likely is it to benefit you over the course of your career? And then weigh everything up. Fourthly, here is how to handle questions about salary and benefits. At the first interview, the employer often inquires about salary. Give them a figure at your pearl. The best general rule is to say, "Oh, I don't expect to disagree much over money." You can go on to say that you first need a good understanding of the job. You can also consider saying that you want the market rate for the job plus a little bit more. Invariably, the recruiter will ask, "Why a little bit more?" And you can reply, "Because I'm above average and I'll be making a contribution that would be way above average in the role." If you're currently on quite a high or a low salary, disclosing either figure to the employer is particularly unwise. Tell them it's not relevant and don't disclose the amount. A useful tactic that some people use very effectively is to throw the matter back to the employer. Ask whether any for the role has to fit into a framework there within the organization. If they say yes, ask for information about what their parameters are. Now, they're on the back foot. If you really feel that you need to give interviewers something, provide them with a salary range rather than a specific figure. And try and keep it so wide that it really tells them very little. Other matters to keep in mind. Think flexibly. Sometimes employers cannot give much on money, but they have lots of room to maneuver in some other ways. Be careful not to damage or compromise the relationship that's forming as a result of fraught salary or benefit negotiations. If you need several matters addressed within negotiations, try and deal with them simultaneously. Don't drip feed, and let the employer know how you rank the various matters in importance. Be sure the employer knows that you want to join them. Communicate that you want to join and why once outstanding matters are dealt with. That's the end of this video. However, there are links to several more similar videos available on the website interviewexpert.ie. And please remember, how you do an interview depends on how you prepare for that interview.